Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and wow, Michelle, I am so excited about the show today because we got a returning a guest that, oh, well, I tell you, he's a permanent part of the show. He's been here for many shows. And we're going to be talking about one of his books. The link is what you think. And, I tell you, just looking over and doing some of our research, what he writes in his books and some of the things that his quotes, that's life in a nutshell, meaning that if we think about some of the things that we do or say or whatever that might be, that shows the link of what we think or to things in our actions. That's what we think, and we do certain things in certain ways, some good, some bad. So I'm excited about having Dr. Michael Mantell. Michelle, don't get mad at me. I had to say it.
You did it again. You did it again. You told the audience what the title of the show was and the guest. Okay.
I couldn't help it today. I mean, I couldn't help it. I'm sorry.
That's
How
okay.
are you doing today?
I'm doing good. You know, we do have this amazing returning, like a permanent fixture guest on our show, Dr. Michael Mantell. And the title is The Link is What You Think. And that was tied to one of his books. And it encompasses so many things, so many, and I know an hour is not going to do it justice, but it's all about mindset, attitude, perceptions of, just basic life, day-to-day life, and how I would say, in my perspective, how you would train your mindset and your thoughts and what you allow into your mind. But it's so much more. He's the expert, and we're going to defer to him.
So I tell you, wherever you're watching the show at or listening, was you watching it on E360 television, transfer TV? Was you listening to it on the radio? Was you 35, I think, live streaming platforms? If you want to be part of the show, all you do is just go to the comments. Ask any question that you might have, and we promise to get you an answer. Michelle, I cannot wait. Can you get it started? Can you already said the title, but can you say it one more time? And can you tell about the purpose and introduce this great guest?
Yes, the title again is called The Link is What You Think. And we're going to have a conversation with cognitive behavior coach, keynote speaker, author, and advisor, Dr. Michael Mantell. And we're going to talk about the essentials that are required to live a better life, and how mental health begins in your perspective and attitude. And we're going to talk about the underpinnings of anxiety, depression, and anger. So let me remind you of who our guest is. For nearly 50 years, Dr. Mantell has been helping people of all ages and backgrounds disturb themselves less and creating lasting positive change with his compassion-based, rational, emotive behavior coaching methods. Earned his PhD at the University of Pennsylvania after completing his master's degree in clinical psychology at Hahnemann Medical College. He's a member of the Science Advisory Council of the International Council on Active Aging, a longtime member of SAG-AFTRA since 1981, through which he has brought psychology to the public for decades in broadcast and print media, including Good Morning America, Oprah, Larry King, Men's Health, Women's Health, and many more. So he has written 4 books, including his first, 1988, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, P.S. It's All Small Stuff, Ticking Bombs, Diffusing Violence in the Workplace, and The Link is What You Think. His clients range from law firms, medical practices, corporate organizations, entertainment, celebrities, and many more. Please welcome back to the show, Dr. Michael Mantell.
How you doing, Doc?
What a fabulous introduction. My goodness. Thank you very, very much. It's a pleasure to be back with you. I shouldn't even say to be back with you. I should just say it's a pleasure to be here again with you.
We're so happy to have you here, Doc. And I'm excited to learn a little bit about your book. I'm going to learn a lot because that's how life is. The link is what you think. Look at it.
There it
is. So, Doc, can you tell our viewers and listeners how did you come up with the title of that book, and what does it mean?
Well, Dr. Cooley, you're going to appreciate the fact that I didn't come up with a title. Actually, my partner in crime, my wife Paula, as you can appreciate, she came up with a title. I've been working in this area and this concept for many years with different demographic groups, and I'm putting it all together. I said, I just don't know. I have the thinking, and I got all these issues. She said, "What's the link between these two?" I said, "The way you think." She said, "And that's the title of your book. The link is what you think." Bingo. That's it. It's a good thing we have brilliant partners, right?
Absolutely. And I tell you, we have to have brilliant partners because a lot of times, Doc, we think we know something and we really don't know anything.
Well, that's true. The link is what you think.
Yeah, so tell our viewers a little bit about that, and
Sure.
the link is what you think, and so we can kind of give them a better concept.
Okay. There's lots of places to sort of enter this. Let me start with a quote that came from one of the Stoic philosophers, Epictetus. And he said that people are not disturbed by outside things and events, but rather we disturb ourselves about those outside things and events. We don't get disturbed. We make ourselves upset, disturbed, unhappy, anxious, depressed, angry. So it's not the things, it's not other people, it's not events, it's not circumstances, it's not our past, it's not what we have or don't have. It's the way we think about all those things that creates our emotions and well-being. And so this is anchored in that model. Now, one of my early teachers way back in the 70s, a psychologist by the name of Albert Ellis, took that statement, people are not disturbed by outside things and events, but rather we disturb ourselves about them. And he built an approach called rational emotive behavioral therapy, REBT. And that means that there are activating events in the world, A, B, the beliefs we have about those activating events, and C, the consequences that come as a result of what we believe about those activating events, this ABC model. And then when I went to the University of Pennsylvania, another professor of mine, Aaron Beck, built on that model, and he called it cognitive behavioral therapy, which today is the gold standard of helping people disturb themselves less and live happier, healthier, better, more optimal lives.
Wow. Well put. Hey, Doc, what essentials can people implement in their lives to live better?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that, please?
I said, what essentials can people implement to life in their lives to live better?
Well, the key is that at the bottom line, no matter what else you do, pills, yoga, cold showers, this, that, eating better, at the end of the day, this has to change the way you think. And understand, we have lots of these sayings, think differently and it will be different. No, I can think this blue striped shirt is a red polka dot shirt all day long. It's not going to change the shirt. It's only going to change what I think about the shirt. Now, we have this is going to be like a single session coaching session here. I'm jumping in. We have a variety of beliefs that really screw us up royally, that really mess us up mentally. The belief that an adversity occurs and it shouldn't, must not occur. We believe if something occurs that we demand and expect and shouldn't occur, that it's therefore horrible, awful, and terrible. And if it's horrible, awful, and terrible, then we tell ourselves, I can't stand this. And then we demean ourselves. I'm not worthwhile. Those beliefs, those are extreme beliefs. It should be different. It's horrible. It's not. I can't tolerate it. And I'm a piece of garbage. That kind of thinking is what most emotional upset as we know it today is anchored in. Now, I don't know how much more time we have, but I can go into the contemporary model, the symptom-based polypharmacy treatment model, in which all we give is medicine and another medicine, another medicine. And, look, there's lots of limitations with that, many limitations, and I don't want to get into that. But the idea of learning how to think differently about yourself, other people, the world, life, boy, does that change the way you live.
Wow. So Doc, can you tell us, why do our thoughts have incredible power to shape our realities, perceptions, and behaviors?
Well, thoughts drive us in different directions. For example, in the area of dieting and weight reduction, an area that I've worked in for many, many decades, actually since the 70s, you tell somebody, well, boy, that donut, I just can't resist it. I can't resist that donut. It's like calling my name. Dude. Shh. I don't hear the donut calling anything. It's a donut. It's not calling anything. You think I must eat it because I want it. And it'll be horrible if I can't. And I can't stand not eating it. That's how thoughts motivate behavior. We don't lift a fork without thinking first. You go to a gym. We Michelle and you and I, we go work out, and you look at this dumbbell. Now, I don't know how much weight you lift. You probably lift 275 pounds. You're a big guy, not me. But I look at a 100-pound barbell, and I say, oh, my God, that thing scares me. Dr. JC, it's a barbell. It doesn't scare anybody. We scare ourselves. Oh, my God, I'm going to get hurt if I lift it. I'm going to break my back. I'm going to strain myself. We predict. And that's anxiety. We'll talk about that a little bit too.
Well, yeah, we got to take a break, but you know what, Doc? You just mentioned something, and I just thought about it because in Temecula, we got a Krispy Kreme that's getting ready to open up, and I can't say that the donuts are calling my name now. But, I'll tell you, we're gonna take a station break. But if you want to be part of this conversation, all you have to do is just go to whichever platform you're watching this on. Ask any question that you might have, and we promise to get you an answer. It's your life, and we'll be back shortly after the break.
Chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, or hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? And everything that you do.
to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and just like you said, we got my favorite guest. I mean, I wouldn't even call him a guest because just like we mentioned, it's Dr. Mantell is part of the James Cooley Show always, and he always enlightens us with all this wisdom and knowledge and understanding that it's only going to make everybody better. So that's why you got to watch the show. You never know when I'm gonna have Dr. Mantell on. So you don't ever want to miss none of these. So if you want to be part of the conversation, just go to the platform that you watch this on and ask any question that you might have. Dr. Mantell, one of the things that you said a second ago was think about what you were thinking about. Why is it so important that we take that split second or 2 seconds to think about what we're thinking?
Well, I'll give you a couple of answers. Number one, Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist, said that the space between the stimulus and the response, that moment that we take, that's where our power lies. So here's a little experiment. Ready? I'm going to say something, and I want to hear your immediate reaction. No thinking. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Bump, ba-da, bump, bump.
Bump, bump.
Right. Now you could have done. What do you mean, Michael? What are you getting at, Michael? What does that mean? What does that bump? But no, because we're so used, our minds are so trained to that bump, ba-da, bump, 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 bump. We have no power. Now I wanted to tell you something that struck me a moment ago. I've been on the show with you. I feel like we're brothers, we're family, we're friends. We talk all the time. I never noticed this before. One of the pictures that showed up on the video said that in your wonderful, wonderful, wonderful book, so you say that because of the color of your skin, this is not easy to say, you were treated as a second-class citizen. Now, come on, viewers and listeners, does this look like a second-class citizen? No. You know why? Because this second-class citizen never allowed himself to carry that thinking. Now, down deep, we all have doubts about ourselves, right? We all do. You use the word wisdom in relationship to me. And as soon as you said it, I thought to myself, I'm not wise. As soon as you said that. But that's our thinking. So as Michelle knows, every day on Facebook for at least 7-8 years, every day, I don't miss a day, I give psychology away. I have what I call Mantell's Points to Ponder. Cut to it coaching. Stop all the baloney. Stop all all that talk. Cut to it. So I just want to share with you, if I can.
Oh, absolutely.
This was on yesterday's or today's, I think. Number one, unconditionally. I don't care about my skin color, my grades, where I live. I unconditionally accept yourself, other people, and life. Unconditionally accept. Number two, build greater tolerance of discomfort, frustration, and uncertainty. Of course, there's uncertainty in this world. And if you tell yourself, I can't tolerate it, you're in trouble mentally. 3, give up thinking you have to prove yourself to anyone and switch to just enjoy your life. It could be over right now. Who do you have to impress? Who do you have to prove to yourself to? And are they going to let you? 5, live anchored in preferring things, not demanding things. And 5, take responsibility for your emotions and your behaviors. After all, you create them. So those 5 points are on. I put those kinds of things up on Facebook and LinkedIn every day, and they're there. But that is a guidepost to using your mind in a healthy way.
Absolutely. If you haven't already looked at his post, I think You need to go and look at them every day. Facebook and LinkedIn. Dr. Michael Mantell. Hey, Doc, one of the things that you quoted in your book is our minds are like forestry, built over years with beliefs and habits. Things may not come easy, but it is where our mental health transformation begins. Can we discuss that?
Absolutely. Again, the point is, where does your power in life come from? Now, for those of us who believe in God and the Lord, we believe that we are endowed, we're built as masterpieces, as you say in some of your inspirational presentations. We are built that way. But if you don't believe that, if you don't think that, you're going to walk around denigrating yourself, demeaning yourself. You're going to conflate, confuse what you do with what you are. And so the key of building a fortress is to say, okay, thank you for what you put into me. You built me perfectly as I'm supposed to be. Oh, but my nose is too big. Too big? Did he make a mistake when he knows what he's doing? He knows this is the nose for this person. He knows this mind is for this person. I should have a mind like her or him or that. So the key is to be able to unconditionally accept yourself, to be grateful for the masterpiece that as you were created, and to build that mindset of power, strength with that kind of self-talk. The story we tell ourselves every day. Oh my God, this is going to be a terrible day. I've got so much to do. What if I don't get it done? I'm a failure. No, you are not a failure if you failed to get something done. You're not a goof if you goofed. And you're not a worm if you acted wormily.
Never heard that, wormily.
That's Albert Ellis.
So hey Doc, so how does your mental health begin in your perspective and in your attitude? I mean, I believe that attitude is everything. The way that we accept things, our reactions, all of that. Can you discuss that with our listeners a little bit?
Sure. What is an attitude, James? An attitude is the way you think. An attitude is what you tell yourself about something. An attitude is just a story you tell yourself. So you can wake up today and look at the magnificent goodness around us. No, it's so damn hot, though. My God, it's 89 degrees here. In Temecula, it's probably even hot. Oh, it's terrible. Or you can go like, wow, look at the roof. That air conditioning feels so good. So that food that I have is delicious. That's nonsense, Michael. It's so damn hot I can't cut. What are you going to think about? Now, I want to share with you a number of key ideas for living well. I know we're going to take a break in a little bit, but I'm going to go through some of them. You tell me when to stop. The first is...
We got time. We're not taking a break for
first
at least 5
is
minutes.
Emotional responsibility. So if you're going to build mental health, understand that adversity occurs to you, me, to the coolies, to your neighbors. Yes, even to the guy driving the Bentley convertible, even to the person who just graduated Harvard University Medical School. Yeah, it happens to everybody. And when you peel back the curtain and they're willing to talk to you, as they do to me, they share their adversities. We have to choose, because we can, a healthy response to those adversities. We can't necessarily change what's outside of us. We sure can change the way we respond to it. So I focus on what I can change, and I accept the unchangeable. I talk a lot about help. I help a lot of people unconditionally accept themselves and other people. We walk down the street and we judge people. Who the heck am I to judge someone else. Who am I? And who are you to judge me? Give me a break. I was going to the gym and this guy pulled in with a truck into a handicap space. And this woman said, he's not handicapped. I can't believe he just pulled in that space. I said, ma'am, ever hear the benefit of the doubt? How do you know he's not handicapped? Well, does he have handicap license plates? Come over with me. What? Come over with me. In the windshield of his car, he had a brand new sticker, handicapped from the state of California. But right away, we're going to judge. Human beings are fallible. Let's evaluate behaviors and reward behaviors or penalize behaviors and unconditionally accept human beings as having flaws because we are all of us. We are all flawed.
Wow. You know, a lot of people are getting a free lesson from Dr. Mantell.
Single session coaching today, man.
You know, hey, Doc, so why is it important to have a positive mindset along with a great attitude?
Well, I'll tell you, there's something, the research shows us that people who live with hope hold on, pain ends. Hope. Hold on, pain ends. HOPE. People who have optimism live longer. Want me to say it again? People who have optimism live longer. So, as Frank Sinatra sang in the song High Hopes, because he's got high hopes. Now, I'm not going to keep singing on your show, but this is a first. My wife's going to kill me. But when you have high hopes, when you are young at heart, when you look at life through the lens of tolerating uncertainty, you live longer and better. Only probability, not certainty, exists. We don't know if we're going to be here next week for a show. We don't know if we're going to be here tomorrow. So let me live as happily and gratefully. What does it say in Proverbs? Who is happy? Who is rich? He who is happy with what he has. That's what it says in Proverbs. In other words, let's be positive. Frustration and discomfort are very difficult to bear. They're not unbearable, though. Tolerance, positivity, regardless thinking. Even though this is going on, regardless, I can still be hopeful. That requires effort. Accept that the path that he puts in front of us is not often easy. But I look at all of those difficulties as sandpaper. And he's giving me an opportunity to sandpaper myself up. I can curse and scream and whine and carry on, or I can say thank you. And people go like, you're thanking him for that, this or that? Yeah, because he knows somehow it's good for me. That's the mindset I have.
Wow. Hold that thought. We're going to take a station break, but I want to pick it up right there. You mentioned this thing called hope. And so I want to talk about that a little bit more when we get back, along with what I think birthrights are. So I tell you, just like I mentioned a second ago, you're getting a free coaching lesson from Dr. Michael Mantell. And this is so important to have a positive mindset and also believe in yourself. So we're going to take a station break, but we're going to come back. We're going to pick it up from there. Always remember that you are a masterpiece and it's your life. And we'll see you shortly after the break. Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and my absolutely wonderful, wonderful friend and guest, Dr. Michael Mantell, is always putting it down, always educating us, always enlightening us. Dr. Mantell, you mentioned this thing called hope, and one of the things I talk about in my lectures and my speeches is birthrights, and birthrights are confidence, courage, hope, belief, and faith. The thing that keeps everything together is, hope, having the right attitude, having the right focus, having the right mindset, and believing in yourself. I think those essentials, those birthrights, are so important to understand. And regardless of what anybody else might say or think about you, you know who you are. So can we talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. I think that if you look at people who are really living optimally, I don't mean wealthy materially, but I mean emotionally well. Their focus is on relieving suffering for others, being diligent about their obligation they feel to live in what we might call a godly way, being grateful, being very grateful for the good things that come our way and not assuming we deserve them, and instilling these understandings in the next generation, just as you do. Just as you do. When we live life mindful of all the complexities that face us, then we are living, I think, in the best way we can to achieve the good life. There's a psychologist, Tal Ben-Shahar, and he wrote in a book called Happier. I'm going to read his quote. He said, listen to this. This is a killer. Being an idealist is being a realist in the deepest sense. It's being true to our real nature. So when you talk about hope, if we really see the best is yet to come, regardless of what's in the way, that's what this is about. We're being an idealist. And that idealism means we accept, not settle, but we gratefully accept that what's being put in our life is for us, not being done to us.
Wow. Hey, I think we got a question. I'm not sure what David is trying to say, but do you know anything about a new cancer?
I don't know anything about. Yeah, I don't know anything about a new cancer pill. There are many pills that are out there, and we have a polypharmacy approach to mental health. I'm not a cancer specialist, David. I hope that if this is for you or for someone you care and love, I hope that whatever it is, this pill or some other approach will be of value to them. Even though with cancer, let me comment about this. We know people who've, God forbid, had cancer, and when they have a diagnosis of cancer, suddenly they're happier, they're more optimistic, they've let go of their anger, and you wonder what's going on. And they tell you, well, this has really changed my thinking. Can you imagine? And we know that laughter with that diagnosis seems to help immunity and all the rest. It doesn't cure cancer, but it enables people to deal with it better. And what we're saying today is, don't wait for cancer. Change your thinking now. So, David, good question about the cancer pill. And if there really is a cancer pill, great. Let's hope it works. And if the pill is in quotes and it's a mindset in order to deal with that dreadful diagnosis, let's hope that people can use that as well.
So Dr. Mantell, what roles does gratitude, have an effect on mindset and attitude?
Gratitude is medicine. I wrote about this. Someone shared a quote I wrote back in 2000, the early 2008, 2009. Gratitude is medicine. The heart and the mind that can say thank you when you wake up in the morning. that 100 times a day you find ways of saying thank you. Could be the person who opens the door and lets you go first, to the person who, whatever. There's 1,000, but I have a practice of 100 times a day being aware of saying thank you, being grateful. And the first thought that I have when I wake up in the morning is, thank you for waking me up. And I think that if people will start their day thinking about what can go right and end their day at night at bedtime by thinking about what did go right, they will live in a healthier way. I once had a child with autism I was taking care of, and he came in one day very upset, very angry. I said, so-and-so, what's going on? He said, well, nothing went well today. This was 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And I said, nothing went well? And he said, nope, nothing. I said, well, when you walked up the stairs today to my office, did the stairs collapse? And he went, no, of course not. And when you got home today and you wanted your peanut butter and jelly sandwich, your mom made it for you? Well, yeah, she's my mom. And when she drove you here and she put the brakes on, the car stopped. It didn't get crashed into another car. No, of course not. But nothing went well. Can you imagine if this youngster had the mindset? By the way, he's now in his junior year at Harvard University studying physics. Totally different mindset. Says thank you 100 times a day.
Wow. That's great thought. So a lot of people have these negative attitudes, these negative thoughts. What are some common negative thought patterns we should be aware of?
Well, one of them is that life is terrible, horrible. I can't stand it. What we really should be telling ourselves is life's difficult and I wish it were easier, but I can tolerate it. In fact, if I learn how to tolerate more, it'll be a better life. Instead of having what we call LFT, low frustration tolerance, in my coaching, I teach HFT, high frustration tolerance. So one negative thought that we carry around is that when something is bad, it's more than bad, it's horrible. But nothing is more than bad. It's bad. It's very bad. But it's not awful. I think that those are just two beliefs that I hear frequently. My boss is driving me crazy. No, he's not, or she's not driving you crazy. He or she is acting in ways you wish they wouldn't. Do you hear the difference? So one, you blow yourself up and your blood pressure and your heart and headaches and everything else, and you wonder where your migraines are coming from. And the other is, yeah, it's unfortunately that my boss is tough on me, but I can deal with it. I don't like it. I wish I didn't have to, but I'll deal with it.
No, so how can we overcome our negative thoughts and turn them to positive thoughts?
So I want to point out, this is not about just let's be positive, because there's something called toxic positivity, meaning like, if you're a, God forbid, let's take the cancer diagnosis. If you get a diagnosis of cancer, we don't want you to say, oh, that's good. Man, that God meant that for me. That's great. I'm happy. No, what are you kidding me? You get into a car accident and someone gets hurt. You don't say, oh, gee, okay, no, I'm thinking positive. No, what are you kidding me? That's called toxic positivity. Toxic positivity. How do we go from thinking in ways that are self-disturbing to stubbornly refuse to do that to ourselves? Well, first, understand the link is what you think. Meaning, I have to ask myself, is what I'm thinking about this situation or about this person or about this circumstance, is what I'm telling myself about it helping me or helping the situation? No. Number one, it's the first question. It's called functional. It's not helping. 2, Do I have any evidence at all that what I'm thinking is true? No, I really don't. I'm thinking it, so it must be true. Do I have real evidence? I don't. Number 3, is what I'm thinking logical? Because that person walked by and didn't say hello, that I am a piece of garbage? There's nothing logical about that. And last point, would I teach this way of thinking to my children? The acronym is called F is FELT, F-E-L-T. Is it functional for me to think this way? Do I have A, evidence, L, logic, T, would I teach it to a kid? Does it happen in one session? Not usually. Does it happen in 4 or 5 sessions? Sometimes. But for some people, it takes a long time to untrain their mind. Well, my mother always told me I was a piece of garbage. My parents left me when I was a kid, so obviously I was no good. But you're making up stories. These are not necessarily true. And even if they are, regardless thinking says, okay, so they treated me badly. What's that got to do with me?
Wow. I want to hold that thought, Doc. We got to take a station break, but this is it. I'm thanking you already, Doc, because this lesson, this coaching that you give me, I mean, it's just so valuable. And I know our listeners and our viewers out there are really enjoying this. So we're going to take a station break. We're going to come back and we're going to pick it up with some more Dr. Michael Mantell. If you want to be part of the conversation, it's not too late. Let's go to whatever platform you listen or watching this on and ask any question that you might. It's your life. We'll see you shortly.
Noah Dingley here, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is a must-have. James shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audiobooks are sold.
Welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life. I tell you, I did not even want to take the station break that time because that last segment was so good. So we're going to pick it back up. But before we pick it up, I got to tell you about my new book, A Black Man Point of View, Mind, Body, and Soul. Released this almost a month ago. #1 release, #1 bestseller. A lot of people look at the title, they get it confused, like, oh, he's just talking about Black people. It's not. We're talking about all people as, being able to love, respect, forgive, move forward. So I tell you, that's what the book is about: mind, body, and soul. And it talks about how we are conditioned through upbringing, how we conditioned from things that happened in our generations and our past. But we don't have to live that way. It's all about love and compassion. So you can pick up my book anywhere where books are sold, mainly Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, and just like I said, any platform. I want to get back, Doc, to what we're talking about, because mindset. I was thinking during the break, if we do not change our mindsets from a negative focus to a positive focus, we're never going to be able to move forward and just make ourselves better. How long does it take to change our mindset and attitude and to consistently stay with a positive mindset?
Well, I have clients, honestly, that have they call them single session cures. I don't like the word cure, but because it's not an illness, but they have single sessions and they say, my God, this is perfect. I got to just do it. And they go out and they do it. Most of us don't have that instant ability to simply just, make peace with our past and so forth. We need to work at it. So it takes time, and it takes many, 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 many times a day to catch your irrational, extreme, erroneous thought, to challenge it with those questions that I talked about earlier, and then to change those thoughts. How many coaching sessions does it take for a baseball hitter to learn to hit a home run? Well, it doesn't happen in one time. I don't know. I doubt it. This is a skill. And for many people who have had traumatic, adverse childhood experiences, it takes a lot to overcome that, because you have been taught that 2 + 2 = 5. And every time you do an addition, I got to catch myself. If you've been working in a job for 20 years and every time you go out of your home, you make a left turn, and now you have a new job and you got to go right, how long does it take before you stop making that left turn? It takes time. I think a key is to not demand, expect, or insist. Demand. Insist, I, expect, DIE. When we demand, insist, and expect, we die. So I don't expect perfection. I hope for, I have a desire for change. And I teach my clients, don't expect immediate results. Let's plan for that. Let's make sure there's a plan for that every day to catch, challenge, and change your thinking.
Wow, I got about 3.5 minutes left. I still got about 3-4 questions I got to get to. Doc, how can let's discuss the underpinning of anxiety, depression, and anger.
Good.
How can we get our mindset to not just focus on that? Most people, they're unhappy all the time because that's what their focus is at.
Right. So you've heard the expression, I'm thinking too much. I got to stop thinking too much. No, that's not the answer. So I want you to learn how to think healthier. The answer is not I'm thinking too much. Now, in some mental disorders, obsessive compulsive disorder, and so forth, that may be a part of the issue. But let's look at anxiety, depression, anger real quickly. Anxiety is a future-oriented problem. You predict not just difficulties, you predict horror. Concern is, I hope I don't get a flat tire. Anxiety is, oh my God, what if I get a flat tire? I got to be careful. Where am I going to drive? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, anxiety is overwhelming, and that's a prediction of the future. Depression is looking back, thinking about what you no longer have. And anger is demanding that life be different and that it must be the way you think it should be. So much is what's going on in our society today is this crazy notion, it must be my way. No, let's sit down and talk. I got to tell you right now, real quickly, I'm not running for office, but if I was running for office, I would say, I don't know anything about the economy and this and foreign relations. I know how to bring people together because that's what the world needs. Unconditionally accepting each other. Let's put our arms around each other, not push each other away because you should be different. Anxiety, future, depression, past, anger, demanding.
Hey, Doc, before we get too far down the line, how can people get in touch with you and get your books or enlist your services?
Well, certainly my book is, as your wonderful book is available at Amazon, where all great books are located. They can just go on that and order it. And they can be in touch with me at my email, Dr. Mantell, Dr. Mantell, no period, just Dr. Mantell at me.com. And I will get back to you. Just put down some James Cooley Show in the subject line, and I'll get back to you immediately. And if people want to spend a session with me, I'd be happy to chat with you.
So, Doc, about a minute ago, what are some of the takeaways that you want our wonderful viewers and listeners to get from this great coaching section that you just gave?
Think independently, self-reliance. In other words, make your choices and be responsible for your outcome. Stop blaming the economy and the climate and the president and your mother. We create our own happiness and we can create our own misery. So that's number one. I think number two is what other people think of you, who cares? So what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. Focus on bringing your best, your sense of helping other people. Live with gratitude and gratefulness and watch how much better life is.
Dr. Mantell, I want to thank you again, always, for taking the time to come on the James Cooley Show. Is Your Life. You know I'm going to be calling on you again real soon because I just love the education. And this is an easy way of me getting a coaching session. So I want to thank you. I'd like to thank Dr. Michelle Cooley for putting together another absolutely fantastic and fantastic show. But most importantly, I'd like to thank you, the viewers, the listeners, for taking time to tune into the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life. We'll be back tomorrow. Same time, same place. Always dream big, think big, and be big at everything that you do.